would like to, you can grab the bit.ly and have access to the slides that
Bitly,
have links to everything that we'll be sharing today.
yes, Bitly's in that bottom right corner. Go ahead and take that down now if you need it. You'll have all of our slide decks as well as resources. Okay, turn that music off and let's get started. All right, so my name is Ariel. I teach first grade at Del Sur Elementary. I am virtual this year.
And I am Teresa Stogsdill. I teach third grade at Westwood Elementary, and I am on campus this year.
All right, just a reminder, we are recording. This will be posted for the ProGrow catalog, nowhere public or anything like that. Any questions you have during this session, please feel free to use the chat box. You can, of course, just unmute yourself and ask a question live and in person, or you can email us later.
Yes, I will put that in the chat right now.
Oh, I didn't see that. So you might
I got it.
Okay, you might be seeing questions that I can't, Teresa, just so you know. All right, our central question, our program is really focusing on how can we purposefully integrate technology to enhance student learning. All right, now in today's day and age, everyone's saying technology, but it's not always a good thing, right? It doesn't always help us. So how can we purposefully integrate it so that we can help those students out? With a playlist. All right. You all are here for our playlist session. So, yes, we're going to help you out with breaking down playlists, giving you tips, giving you ideas.
So playlists are a collection of resources and or activities. The tasks on a playlist are designed in such a way that students can learn at their own pace, their own level, their own time, and often they'll have their own choice in producing evidence of their learning. At the same time, while they're working on these playlists, that gives us the time to work flexibly, whether we want it to be one-on-one with some students or in small, flexible groups.
Yes. One big aha moment from our previous groups, your playlist does not need to be delivered digitally. Okay. I personally like to deliver my playlist to my class on paper. So that's a common misconception that it doesn't need to be done online. Okay. Another big takeaway with playlists is you don't have to complete a playlist. Okay. Otherwise, it's just a checklist. All right. So
Right.
that's a big difference between a checklist and a playlist.
Yep.
All right. So why playlists? We have a few options of why teachers like using playlists in their classrooms. First one being personalized learning. So students get that voice and choice on group or individual work, and student voice on layout of the classroom. So physically, where are they working? All right. We all love voice and choice. You clearly picked this session because you were interested in it. And so your takeaway is going to be much better. Blended learning, we've heard that before in the educational world. So, using tech tools to allow for quick feedback is amazing. Using technology for instruction, and then, of course, self paced lessons.
And instructional strategies that allows us to have more small, flexible groups, whether it's to practice or reteaching groups or extension groups. We can explicitly deliver the standards that we need for those kids and the flexibility of doing some one-on-one conferencing with our students. As well as playlists allow for increased student engagement. They, when they get to choose what they want to do, they take ownership over that, and their focus and their attention on tasks are much better than it is, and it also helps us easily modify from for either end of the spectrum with our kids. It's real easy to take our average playlist and change it up for kids that maybe need a little bit less or a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also not so obvious if a child is doing something different than their peers. One other thing with that one on one instruction, usually a lot of teachers use playlists for language arts, but it can be used for any subject, for math, for science. It could be used daily, it could be used weekly. It's up to you.
Yep.
All right, we got a few more joining. Sorry.
And our big focus of why a playlist.
Yes, our big focus today, personalized learning, giving those students that voice and choice, all right, that buy-in so that they really are engaged. Such a hard thing this year, you know, being online, schedules changing, coming to school, coming not, you know, staying at home. So having that voice and choice really has been helping. All right, it is the time. We are actually going to break up into a primary breakout group and an upper grade breakout group. That way the questions are a little bit more streamlined. I'm going to go ahead and set up that breakout room. If you would like to do the primary group, K12, go ahead and join group 1. If you would like upper grade, we are going to do room 2. All right. Let's see. And if you have the most updated Zoom, you can pick for yourself. If not, just unmute and I can assign you a group.
Hi, can you put me in 1, please?
Yes,
Debbie Lofgren.
Let's see, where'd you go? There
D.
you go.
Lofgren.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you put Stacy Jones in room 1, please?
Stacy Jones, there you are. Okay. Anyone else?
Can you put Alessandra Piñon in room 1, please?
Yes,
Zooming under my daughter's name, sorry.
No problem.
Can you put Katie Berg in room 1?
Let's see, Berg in room 1.
Lori Evans in room 1, please.
Evans, room 1. Big group today.
And Teresa Obweg with primary. I think that's room 1.
Yes. Teresa, room 1. Okay, anyone else need?
This is Lape, room 1.
Okay.
Number 2.
Richard's 2.
I'm going to log off this computer and join on a different computer.
Okay, we'll let you
Can I
back
go to room 2 in room 2 then? Thanks.
Okay.
And Holly in 2.
You got it. Let's see, we have 2 Tammys.
Brokaw and that's me. Sorry, I'm watching on my computer and listening on my phone. It works better for me.
Okay.
I need the primary. Thanks.
You got it. All right, and Victoria, primary or upper grade?
Sorry, primary. I sent it in the chat. Didn't realize that.
Sorry.
My mistake.
No mistake at all. I didn't see it. There we go.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're all back.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, good breakout session. Give yourself a pat on the back. That was awesome.
Yay, good job, guys.
Let's see. Let's see. Miss Berg, can you elaborate? Or maybe this is for Teresa. Did she have one in the fall?
What's that?
In the chat box, I saw an email about having one, but never a link.
Which one? I'm not sure what that's referring to. Oh, okay.
No worries. You're good. Okay, let's see. We're going to go back to that share screen. One moment, friends. Okay. Come on. There we go. All right.
Awesome. So now that we've had some, look at creation, some of these things that I try to remember when you're creating your playlist, just a little checklist for you to think about how to organize it down here. Really thinking about some voice and choice with your kids, different levels of DOK, especially balancing some online and offline activities, really making sure they have the choice between that, because some kids really still do like that paper. One of the biggest takeaways from this list was really establishing a home base. When I first started, it was kind of confusing, like, where do I want the kids to turn everything in? Easier for them to establish it, and then really, to be honest, helping yourself and having yourself a home base so that you don't have to go to 15 different places to find all of their work and to make sure that it is completed and meet your expectations. So having a home base for you is something to really think about, whether it's Seesaw or Canvas or Google Classroom. That doesn't matter. Whatever works for you is what matters.
And don't be afraid to include that on that playlist, letting them know, turn this in on Seesaw, turn this in here, because, your student can upload this activity to Seesaw a million times, but suddenly when it's on a playlist, they forget. So it's all right to include that on the playlist.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we're together, any other comments, questions, what you've seen work? I'd love to hear from you all. I mean, we're just two educators here that have done playlists, but if you have done playlists in the past or this year, what's been working for you, or how are you adapting to this year? All right, we do have a question. First year teacher, what's DOK? What exactly should I ask my PPAP consultant? Great questions.
This is a great question. So really understanding the depths of knowledge. There's those 4 levels of the depths of knowledge, and kind of relate it back to what we used to do with the Bloom's taxonomy, with the different levels of that. But it's really the understanding of how the kids are doing their work. So the first level is really just like that recall and retell type activity. Moving on down to level 4, where kids are really synthesizing and analyzing and putting all of their work and diving really deep into the knowledge that they are presenting or gaining. Do you have another way to say that, Ariel? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to think of it in what it looks like on a playlist is possibly having different options. Okay, so one, deeper understanding of knowledge, that's a heavier activity. Okay, so if a student picks that activity, it's providing more work because they're really having to think about it, versus a lighter end where they have to pick like 3 small activity options. Okay, but definitely that's something. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.
Great examples. Awesome. Okay, and then as far as PPAP consultant goes, ask your PPAP consultant, because they work with each other. They work with all these educators. And if you just say, hey, I've been learning about playlists, can you provide me some samples? I guarantee they will get you some samples.
Yeah.
And then again, it's about that trial and error and deciding what works for you in your class and what doesn't. And sometimes something that works one year doesn't work the next year. So just being able to adapt and try that out. Oh, thank you, Katie. There's another article. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, I know a lot of people asked in our breakout group for samples. So in our slide deck, you can find templates and examples. So if you are brand new to playlist or you're just looking for something new because it's not working for you this year, this is a great slide. We have examples for 5th grade math, 1st grade language arts, science, lots of options for you. I know in my breakout room, we said, okay, can you provide some of these pre-made samples? I'm just gonna.
Yeah, and some of the choice boards on the other side of that too are really good to look at if you would like to see something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so again, this is a digital version, but you can take a peek at what a full language arts playlist looks like. And this is specific to benchmark unit 7, week 1. Okay, so we have word work options, vocabulary and language, reading and writing. Now it's up to you to decide for your class. Are they picking one from each box? Are they picking 2? Do they need to start somewhere? Is something mandatory? It's really about deciding what works for you all. Okay. All right, let me go back to where we were. Sorry, everyone. There we go. Okay, and we also have a few more resources here, just kind of explaining playlists, why they're good, how they're helpful, lots of options. All right, any questions?
And we just want to say, thank you, of course, for joining us. And if you guys have any questions or need some resources as you're going through these playlists, feel free to reach out to us. We may not know the answer, but we will certainly help you find it and connect you to the person that can help you.
Definitely.
I had a quick question. So, let's say you do have different activities, for the various DOK levels. How do you, for example, if a student picks a level 1 and a student picks a level 4, the level 4 type activity would probably take longer than someone who's choosing, a level 1 type activity. How do you structure that, I guess, in your classroom, for those kids who pick an easier or maybe something that would be considered easier versus harder, and when those timelines are due?
Yeah, so that's a situation where it's 1 activity or 3. So if they're picking that lower level, okay, then you have to do 3 of them.
Yeah, there's different ways to organize that. And sometimes teachers will put across the board the DOK ones all on the same level and then work their way down and tell the kids they have to choose 1 from that row and 1 from a different row. Or, it's all in the organization. I would definitely play around with the different ways to do that.
Yeah, since we have time, I'm just going to look to see if I have one example, but keep talking.
Yeah. Any other questions or anything that we can help you with?
Ideas, problems you're facing?
One thing that came up in the other sessions was if any of you are doing novel studies, replacement units with the novel studies, some teachers have taken the playlist and turned that into activities with the novel study as well, and finding specific activities that are based on that book. And so the playlist is all centered around and focused around the skills with that. So you're taking your spelling patterns, but now instead of using the words from benchmark, you're using your words from your novel study idea, or even the grammar skills, same thing, and you're finding them in the novel study. So that's a really great way to kind of change things up. And to incorporating science and social studies, I've done more of a genius hour approach where the activities, if we're studying Kumeyaay right now, so I might find some websites that I feel are appropriate and give some kids some choices to look through, but maybe I'll assign food or home or, different areas of study, culture, and have them do some research and present that to the class. Just ideas to incorporate and get that, all mixed into our different playlists.
Yes. All right, I pulled up something that might be useful for some of us that I found deep in my box. All right, so like those DOK points we were talking about, you might set a goal and they have their log, okay, and deciding how many DOK points do I do. So for this situation, it might be a week-long playlist activity and you set that goal of, okay, here's how many points you need to accomplish by the end of the day or the end of the week. And I can definitely link this to our current slides.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You know, one thing that we talked about in our breakout room was really having that reflection piece at the end,
Yes.
just to keep that ownership and that buy-in with the kids to make sure that they're really reflecting on what it is that they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's even choosing what was your favorite activity, what would you like to see, or you might ask something like, what did you learn, or what is something that you need to continue working on during playlist time.
Even asking, what do you want to see on the playlist? They'll tell you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, well, if there's any more questions, feel free to ask. If you are good to go, have a great rest of the day working.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.